Ladies and gentlemen, today we delve into an invaluable principle of personal development and emotional intelligence, the art of acting like nothing affects you. In the journey of personal development, one of the most underrated yet transformative skills is the ability to remain emotionally neutral in moments of difficulty, provocation, or conflict. Emotional neutrality is not about becoming cold or disconnected. It is about mastering your internal responses so that your external behavior remains composed, deliberate, and strong. This is a form of emotional intelligence that allows you to respond to life's challenges with intention rather than impulsiveness. It's about being the calm in the storm, not because the storm doesn't affect you, but because you've learned how to navigate it with wisdom. Emotional neutrality is a principle grounded in psychological resilience. When you act like nothing affects you, you aren't denying your emotions, you are asserting control over how and when they are expressed. It is the difference between feeling something and being ruled by it. In every interaction, especially those that carry tension, you have a choice: to let emotions dictate your behavior or to pause, assess, and act from a place of calm awareness. The latter is a mark of strength, not indifference. Think of this in terms of perception and power. In social and professional dynamics, the one who maintains composure is often perceived as the one in control. People may test your limits, whether it's through disrespect, competition, passive aggression, or criticism. But the moment you react emotionally, especially with visible frustration or defensiveness, you cede power. You reveal your pressure points. You show others how to destabilize you, even if unintentionally, and in a world that rewards composure, that can be a disadvantage. When you practice emotional neutrality, you protect your position. You send a message that your emotions are not up for public consumption and that no one can easily disrupt your mental state. You become harder to read and therefore harder to manipulate. This doesn't mean becoming robotic or uncaring, it means you've developed emotional discipline. You still feel everything, but you don't act on everything you feel. This is the core of self-mastery. This concept also has roots in neuroscience. When we experience a triggering event, our amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for emotional responses, gets activated. If we act immediately, we often respond impulsively, without engaging the prefrontal cortex, the rational thinking part of the brain. Emotional neutrality allows you to create space between the trigger and your response. That space is where personal power lies. That space is where you decide, I will not let this affect my peace or my presence. One powerful example of this in practice is how high-performing individuals operate under pressure. Whether it's a business executive in a high-stakes negotiation, an athlete in a championship game, or a leader during a crisis, their emotional neutrality is not a lack of passion, but an intense control of focus. They have trained themselves not to let emotions distort judgment. They don't flinch when stakes are high. This doesn't make them invulnerable, it makes them efficient. Similarly, in personal relationships, emotional neutrality is a protective layer that keeps drama at bay. It allows you to hold boundaries, avoid unnecessary arguments, and disengage from draining situations. You may find that when you stop reacting, people start behaving differently. Those who once provoked you may step back. Those who once expected you to over-explain, defend, or chase may start adjusting their tone. Why? Because you're no longer feeding the emotional loop. You're no longer giving them the emotional reaction that validates their behavior. At its core, acting like nothing affects you is a practice in restraint, but restraint is not weakness. It is the mature realization that not everything requires a response, not everything deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your explanation. Silence, distance, and emotional control become your tools. You shift from reacting to observing, from proving to preserving, from impulsive to intentional. Developing this trait takes time, and it often begins with small steps. First, build the habit of pausing before you speak. That pause may be just a few seconds, but in that space you gain control. Second, learn to observe your emotional patterns, know what triggers you and why. This awareness gives you leverage over your reactions. Third, focus on your breathing in moments of tension. Slowing your breath slows your thoughts and brings clarity. Another essential step is to reframe discomfort. When someone tries to provoke or belittle you, instead of absorbing it emotionally, view it as data. Their words reflect their mindset, not your identity. Their opinion is not your reality. When you start viewing situations through this lens, your emotional neutrality becomes effortless. You realize that your emotional state is not a reflection of the world, but a reflection of your inner discipline. This practice also has a profound impact on your self-esteem. When you stop reacting to every slight, every gossip, every criticism, you affirm to yourself that you are not defined by others. You are centered, self-aware, and self-led. You no longer seek validation in the form of emotional engagement. And ironically, the less reactive you are, the more respect you command. People admire calm, they trust those who remain composed, and they often follow the lead of those who don't flinch under pressure. In summary, mastering emotional neutrality is not about pretending that you don't care. It is about learning when to care, how to care, and who is truly worth your emotional investment. It is about being so grounded in your own values, your own goals, and your own peace that nothing external can shake you off course. This is not a quick fix. It is a lifelong discipline, but once mastered, it becomes one of the most empowering tools you can carry through life. The goal is not to become emotionless. The goal is to become emotionally wise, and the person who walks into every room unaffected by noise, untouched by drama, and unmoved by provocation, that person radiates quiet strength. That person wins. Quiet confidence is a profound personal quality that requires no loud declaration or dramatic display. It is the ability to walk into any situation with an assured presence that speaks volumes, even when few words are spoken. This form of confidence is not just an attitude, but a reflection of deep self-trust, emotional regulation, and self-respect. In a world where noise often replaces substance and constant self-promotion is mistaken for value, quiet confidence stands out as a rare and admirable trait. To embody quiet confidence means that you no longer seek external validation to affirm your worth. You don't need applause to know you've done well. You don't need permission to know you belong. This does not arise from arrogance or ego. Instead, it stems from clarity of who you are, what you value, and what you offer. This clarity shields you from the ups and downs of public opinion. When people praise you, you are grateful but not dependent. When they criticize you, you listen with discernment but are not destabilized. This mindset begins with self-awareness. When you understand your own strengths, weaknesses, goals, and boundaries, you are less likely to be shaken by external circumstances. You develop an internal compass that guides your behavior and decisions. You no longer need to prove yourself through exaggerated confidence or over-explanation. People with quiet confidence move with intention. Every action is considered. Every word is chosen carefully. There's no rush to dominate the room or compete for attention because their value is not based on performance, it is inherent. Quiet confidence is observable in behavior. It is seen in the person who listens more than they speak, in the one who doesn't interrupt to make a point, but waits until the timing is right to deliver something meaningful, It's in the professional who doesn't boast about their accomplishments, yet whose work and integrity naturally draw respect. It's in the leader who doesn't manage through fear or pressure, but through calm decisiveness. The presence of such individuals is often felt before they even speak, because confidence, when genuine, doesn't shout, it resonates. One of the key indicators of quiet confidence is the ability to remain unaffected by competition or comparison. In many environments, whether academic, corporate, or social, individuals are constantly measuring themselves against others. But someone with quiet confidence understands that comparison is a distraction. They are on their own path, progressing at their own pace, and they honor that process. They know that someone else's success does not diminish their own. This mental framework protects their peace and sharpens their focus. Another aspect of quiet confidence is emotional stability. The more secure a person is within themselves, the less reactive they are. They don't need to win arguments to feel powerful. They don't rush to correct others to appear smart. Instead, they choose their battles wisely. They are not easily provoked because their energy is not governed by ego. Their confidence is internal, not performance, based, not attention, dependent. This makes them extremely resilient in emotionally charged situations. They can hear criticism without crumbling. They can face opposition without becoming defensive. Their calmness often has a disarming effect on others, creating space for resolution rather than conflict. Quiet confidence also shows up in body language. It's in the steady eye contact, the relaxed posture, the deliberate pace of movement. There is no need for exaggerated gestures or artificial dominance. The person knows they belong in the room, so they carry themselves accordingly. Their presence is self-contained, meaning they don't rely on external energy to feel complete. This kind of energy is magnetic. People are drawn to it because it creates a sense of trust, stability, and authenticity. It is important to note that quiet confidence is often developed over time. It is rarely an inborn trait. Rather, it is cultivated through life experiences, through successes that build competence, through failures that build humility, and through reflection that builds wisdom. It often arises from choosing not to be controlled by insecurity or fear. People who embody quiet confidence have likely faced rejection, embarrassment, or setbacks, and chosen to grow rather than retreat. Each time they chose self-respect over self-doubt, they built a stronger inner foundation. That foundation becomes the quiet strength that guides them forward. Education also plays a role in this. Learning not just formal education, but self-education deepens understanding and promotes self-assurance. The more you learn, the more prepared you are. The more you prepare, the more confident you become. Quiet confidence is not about knowing everything. It's about trusting that you have what it takes to figure things out. It's about knowing that your worth is not conditional, and once you internalize that, you stop needing to convince anyone else of it. In practical terms, people with quiet confidence often approach life with balance. They take responsibility without self-blame. They accept compliments with grace, not arrogance. They lead without overpowering. They are ambitious without being aggressive. They are proud without being boastful. In conflict, they listen before responding. In group settings, they support others without feeling threatened. Their self-worth is rooted, not floating, and this steadiness makes them excellent colleagues, friends, and leaders. One of the most empowering things about this mindset is that it allows you to maintain dignity under pressure. When you are confident in a quiet way, you are less likely to betray your own values just to be liked or accepted. You stop over-explaining, overcompensating, or overcompeting. You realize that your energy is finite and you choose to spend it wisely. This conservation of energy not only protects your peace, but it also keeps you aligned with your long-term goals. Quiet confidence is not just beneficial on a personal level, it has ripple effects. When you model this kind of presence, you give others permission to do the same. You raise the standard of communication and interaction in your environment. People feel safer, calmer, and more respected in your presence. And you become someone others look to for guidance, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. In conclusion, embodying quiet confidence is a profound way to move through life. It is the result of deep inner work, emotional maturity, and self-assuredness. It allows you to thrive in environments of uncertainty, to navigate relationships with grace, and to face challenges with courage. It is not the absence of fear, it is the decision not to let fear lead. And the more you nurture it, the more your life aligns with strength, stability, and authenticity. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who are grounded in their truth, who act with calm certainty, and who understand that real power doesn't need to be proven, it is simply lived. In closing, acting like nothing affects you is not about suppressing your humanity, it is about elevating your self-mastery. It is a discipline rooted in two vital principles, emotional neutrality and quiet confidence. Together, they form a foundation of personal power that does not waver under pressure, nor seek validation through noise. When you master emotional neutrality, you become a guardian of your own energy. You stop reacting to every challenge, every opinion, every provocation. You begin responding from a place of clarity, not chaos. And as you develop quiet confidence, you shift your identity from someone who needs to prove their worth to someone who simply knows it and lives it. This mindset doesn't make you immune to emotion, but it makes you sovereign over it. It doesn't make you detached from others, but it ensures you stay connected to yourself. And in a world that often rewards reaction over reflection, those who move with calm, deliberate strength rise above the noise. So carry yourself with grace, not desperation, with poise, not panic, with conviction, not arrogance. Let your silence say more than your words ever could. Let your presence speak without announcement. Because the one who acts like nothing affects them not because they don't feel, but because they have trained their mind to lead. That is the person who becomes truly unshakable. And in that quiet, controlled, unbothered state of being, you will not only find power, you will find peace. Thank you.